guest is an actor, a photographer, a writer, who currently appears as Toby Cavanaugh on the ABC Family television series Pretty Little Liars. He's also appeared or is forthcoming in several films, including Bukowski and The Sound and the Fury. He is the author of the recent book Life, Love, Beauty, which is a collection of his photos, poems, stories, captions, and musings, song lyrics, and journal pages. He is being interviewed today by LA Times writer Yvonne Villarreal. Please join me in welcoming Yvonne Villarreal and Keegan Allen.
Oh wow, look at this setup.
I think I'm this one, right?
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
It feels like we're right at home like this. Don't you have a setup like this at home?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly like this? Okay. I feel like we should take the first minute to just, can we get our photos in? I know you want to get a photo
Let's do
in.
like one. I want.
Okay.
Hey.
Everyone, let's
So
take
cool.
our photos.
I love it. Let me get one here.
FYI, we
great.
saw somebody's mom with Keegan's book, and
Oh yeah,
he said hello.
Yeah, I saw someone buying the book in line, and I was like, hey, thanks for buying my book. Oh, hey, hi. Yeah, there you are.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. You guys found out about this on Instagram, yeah? Yes.
You
that
post
stuff.
on Instagram?
I do.
I'm shocked.
I do.
Do
Probably
we have
the
to
best
keep
way.
playing with these?
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know what to do.
why not? Look at that. There we go. I think that's better, right?
I want to give some people an introductory of how this book came to be. And even though I'm sure everyone here has read it like 20,000 times, but we have some parents in the audience too. But talk about your introduction to cameras and photography.
Well, I got my first camera when I was very, very young. My dad let me borrow it. It was a Leica M6. At the time, it was a very intense film camera. It's all manual. And I became obsessed with photography. Even before that camera wasn't what did it. It was the idea of capturing moments and doing it obsessively. I think I felt it to be a time machine in which you could step back in time and really experience that moment, but also share that moment with others in a way that didn't make them feel the same feelings. They were able to live kind of vicariously through what you shot and experience their own emotions. Yeah. Do
you remember how it felt when you had your face behind the camera? Like, did it feel it any way?
Yeah, I mean, one of the first photos in the book of the guy training his pigeons with a flag, that was just a really special day for me because I recognized so much of myself was now going to be taken over by this device, this tool to capture, and illustrate my life. And I started the photo book at a very young age. I didn't ever think really that I was going to publish it as a photo book. I thought it was going to be more like a journal of photos, like a photo album that I would share. So that was kind of the idea of Life, Love, Beauty, was to give everybody a photo journal of something that I've been working on since I was very young. And being behind the camera every time, even to this day, I still feel the same way as when I first picked it up.
Well, and given like we're in such a digital age, people are glued to their phones. Everyone here is probably on Instagram. Why
Snapchat.
Why put this in book form versus like just having your photos out there on Instagram or having a Tumblr page? Why have it in a physical, all together kind of way?
Well, like just how everybody here has Facebook, has Snapchat, Instagram. It's all to keep connected with family, friends, strangers, and anybody that you want to engage with. And back when I was, I don't know, how old are a lot of you in here? 16?
Like 60, 55.
What's the youngest kid here? Someone's like
12.
2.
2. Wow.
I'm just kidding. 12. Like when I was 10 years old, there was obviously no internet, no Instagram, no any of that stuff. So what I would do is, it was an archaic form of social media. I would literally have to go up to somebody and be like, "This is my photos. This is my captions. Can you like it?" And so that was my means of communication with the world. And I was so introverted and so shy and really nervous about it, but that was my way of sharing something that people could connect with, and in a way that art is so subjective and yet immerses people into it. And that was kind of the idea, that was being social. Yeah.
Well, we talked earlier about why you chose to pursue acting as a career and keep photography as a hobby. You want to talk a little bit about that? And then maybe also how being a photographer has helped influence your acting in any way.
Well, the idea of ever, turning something into a job makes it not as special to me. I like the idea of doing my photography as a cathartic thing, to be able to take photos and not have somebody, the moment that somebody's like, it's a job, then it kind of takes all the joy out of it for me. So I never really wanted to be a professional photographer. I still don't consider myself a professional photographer. I consider myself a hobbyist, that I just love taking photos, and I can't imagine living in a world where I can't do that. But it's influenced my other artistic realms in different ways, i.e. acting and music, with composition and understanding the rule of thirds, and understanding, how something looks in the light can change everything. And photography is 90% of lighting. So it's been great, and working on Pretty Little Liars and being behind the camera sometimes with so many directors and so many great directors of photography. I've learned so much about lighting and about composition and the way that the cameras really do capture something that the naked eye can't sometimes see. So yeah.
Do you find, I feel like especially with apps like Instagram, people are so concerned about capturing the perfect photo to put out there to everyone, and they want this idea of, look at what I'm eating, or look at this, I'm going to take the perfect photo that captures the Festival of Books. And it can sometimes feel like you're so consumed with taking the perfect photo that you're not actually experiencing what's around you. Talk a little bit about that.
I agree with all of that, and it is something that's just part of our generation now, is that we disconnect so easily. We're so in the moment that I've met so many people where they won't even say hello to me. They'll just come up and be like, photo, and then they'll run away. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
we don't have to talk.
Yeah.
I just need the photo so I could get my likes.
Right,
With
exactly.
Keegan, yes.
And I feel like that's something that was lost with film. Film was something where you would take the photo, you'd have to wait for it, and there was that romance of what does it look like, what's gonna be. And now it's just instant gratification. But there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to be like, oh, selfies are terrible.
Yeah.
Everyone knows I'm on Snapchat. I take selfies with my cat. So, but it is just a different time. I don't think it's bad or good. I think it's just different, and it's all about embracing that and seeing where you can find the art within that. And there is a lot of people that there are a lot of people that are constantly creating on Instagram and creating content. And it's compelling and it's fun, and I think that's what everybody needs to do more, is be inspired to create beautiful things.
Well, let's talk more about selfies. Millennials are considered the selfie generation. Kim Kardashian's coming out with a selfie book. You're a fan of selfies. Talk about what it is about them that you like, or why you want to capture yourself at certain moments and what you get from it.
Well, there was nothing more true to me growing up than taking a self-portrait. And whether that was in a mirror, or you'd set up a tripod on a self-timer and I would take my own image, because only you know yourself better than anybody else, always. That's always how it's going to be. And when you capture yourself in certain moments in your life, there's something very magical about that. I think the selfie doesn't give that same feeling, because you're manipulating yourself to look a certain way every time, to feel a certain way, to be like, you could be having the most miserable day of your life, but you want the world to know you're doing okay, So there is that element, and it's trickery, but I think it's still compelling, it's still wonderful. But I do love film, and I do love the idea of self-portraiture as a means of understanding yourself further, because you'd have to wait you have to wait for a long time to develop that. And sometimes I would catch myself and be like, wow, that day was crazy because that was the day that this happened, you know, and that's so special. I think more people should embrace that, and I don't think you should stop taking selfies at all.
Some parents here might disagree. How about,
Yes.
because like you said, this is a photo journal and it combines photos with prose. Talk about deciding, first culling through the photos and deciding which ones you wanted. And was it a process to decide which ones should be the bigger ones on the page versus smaller? And then how you put the prose to that?
It was a really hard process because when I first went to my editor at St. Martin's Press, George Whitty, he's amazing. I dumped 1,600 film scans on him with pages and reams and reams and reams of notebooks and things, and he's just like, I don't know where to start with this, but we're gonna do it. And we like went through it, and it was just about pairing up images with the writing, and a lot of some of it's been written when I was 15 years old about a girl that I was in love with, or a moment that I really wanted to express, or an existential tragedy that I couldn't wrap my head around as a teen, linked with images. And I didn't want it to be didactic and here's how to feel during this image, but more so about how I felt like people could understand the image from my perspective and still find their own way of understanding it as well. And it was just that process of going through each image carefully and kind of reading the book as a linear storyline, which is hard because it's a photo book. It kind of travels all around these elements of life, love, and beauty. So it was a difficult thing, but I'm really pleased with the way it turned out.
When people are actually reading it, like I was seeing like tweets and stuff of people like who have notes on some of the poems and stuff, so it's like people aren't just flipping for the photos, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, half the book is what it is. It's what's being held in your hand, and the other half is the experience that you have with the book and interacting with it. And that was kind of the idea behind it as well, is that this is something that I wanted to share with people. It wasn't just a one-sided thing of, I'm putting out a book. It was like, I want to share this with everybody. And throughout my book tour, I think the most rewarding thing of the entire experience is getting to talk to people about their experiences with the images and with the writing, and getting to see other people's photojournals and other people's inspirations from it. And I mean, if you just look at I think on one of the pages there's a secret behind the image, and everybody comes up to me and asks me about that. And I'll just tell you guys about it right now. There's a palm tree image in the book. I don't know what page it's on, actually. I should probably know that. But it says there's a secret behind this image, and you can ask me. And the image is a reflection in a small fountain. And 5 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I would go to the fountain because it was outside of the chemo and radiation therapy ward. A lot of kids would be there that were going through the process as well, or their parents or their friends, and that fountain was filled with pennies with very, very heavy wishes. People were very consumed in their mind, and then they would throw a penny and make a huge wish. And the kids would call it a place where you could wish on the stars. And I never really understood what it meant until the sun was going down one day and it illuminated all the pennies, and it looked like stars in the sky when you would look in. So it's just like elements like that. Like, I love to share those stories. I think that's important, to be a human being and experience, all those elements of, pain and love and loss and understanding of life, and to share that with other people who may or may never go through that in their life, So that was the interaction part of the book.
Well, talk about capturing those moments. I mean, you're a celebrity. Hundreds of photos are being taken of you right now as you're talking. And when you live in a world where everyone has a camera on their phone, talk about being able to take out the actual camera, your Leica, right? And sort of capturing those moments without people kind of being like, wait, you're taking a photo of me because I see it differently because it doesn't look conspicuous or inconspicuous.
Well, one of the things that would drive me nuts sometimes is when people take photos like this, or while you're eating, they'll be like, I think it's important to take the time and be like, okay, I want to take a photo of you. And even though it might not be as candid, it's something special about that. Obviously, I've had my camera swatted away from me many times. I tried to take Sam Shepard's picture this last week, and I love him. He's one of my favorite playwrights. And I mean, he's just a great guy, but I was like, hey, can I take your picture? He's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So I've been denied photos before, and but I've learned a lot about that process of taking photos, and just, you know, who does it really great is the guy who did Humans of New York. Brandon, he walks up to people and he'll flat out tell you, hey man, I'm gonna take a photo of you, and you know, he's so nice that people are like, okay, I guess that's okay. So there's different ways of street photography. You know, Bruce Gilden will just get in someone's face with a flash and shotgun shoot them, and they get these amazing looks on their faces. Or like Bruce Davidson will hide in a subway and take photos. So it's like there's different ways of doing it. I'm still learning and still constantly applying techniques and tools and, you know, different ways of communicating with the subject.
Well, and do you find that when people see it out, they act differently? Like seeing Katie pointing the camera at me, I feel like I have to be like this, or like,
oh yeah,
because I know it's going to be on the website.
Yeah, no, I love taking candid photography, and it does change the dynamic sometimes in the room. It changes the air in the room. Sometimes, but even working on the show, and what's been such a blessing is everybody's so supportive. You know, since day one working on set of almost every production I've been on, I'd always have my camera, and at first, you know, it's a little jarring, but because it's something that's always around, you forget that it's there, and then that's when the most amazing photos are taken, those candid shots that are just real. And I appreciate those moments, and I appreciate allowing, you know, or being allowed to take a picture during that time.
Well, and the book does have a lot of photos from the set, partially because that's where you spend the bulk of your time. Talk about getting the girls okay with that. You sort of touched on it earlier, and then as the process came for the book, sort of getting their permission on certain photos. Yeah,
it was something that was just, like I said, I was just really, really blessed to be part of, you know, just a supportive group of friends, and the whole, you know, Pretty Little Liars is such a family. I mean, Marlene King is like the mother of my career. I love her so much and her family, and I feel like all of us are family there. So it's the girls never have ever really been like, don't take my picture. If anything, it would be like, oh, like I want to see that picture.
Yeah.
Let's do something. Let's collaborate. So I've been spoiled in that way, I guess. And when I came to them with the, you know, first draft of the book, with, you know, it had like 600 and something images in it, and I went to, you know, all of the girls and was like, what do you think of these? And they went through it, and they were very involved in, you know, what should stay and what should go and how they feel about it. So it was just like a process of really communicating, because if there's anybody in my book, you know, whether it's anyone from Shia or, you know, Shay, it's because I have reverence for them, and I respect them, and I would never want to put something out there that would not be flattering or, you know, make them feel bad, you know. So
what advice would you give to some of the people here, or people that are interested in photography but don't know how to go about it, and don't know like what they should be buying, or how to sort of get their foot in the door with it?
I think the best way to essentially get into photography is first to go out and get a point and shoot throwaway camera at like CVS or, you know, anywhere, because it's inexpensive, but it's film, and then go and get it developed, check out contact sheets, see if you like this process, and just take pictures of things that you love, and, you know, really involve yourself in capturing the moment, because you're only as young as you are right now, right? And you'll look back on this time, you know, decades from now, and you'll want to have moments and memories not just on your Instagram feed, not just on whatever is the next big social media push with hardware or software that, you know, makes filters and stuff. You want something that's concrete. So shooting on film or even digital and printing it out, having something, it's special, and you'll appreciate it later in life.
What's your favorite filter?
Oh, I don't know. I like when I shoot on film. Usually, I'll shoot like Tri-X 400 or with color. I like Portrait. I like 800 Portrait because it's a little more saturated. But I shoot a lot of Ektar 100 because it's really saturated and it makes skin tones look almost unnaturally healthy. And then yeah, I used to love shooting slide film. There was like one shot in the book that's Kodachrome, which I wish still existed, but you know, those are like the way I think of filters. I guess black and white is my favorite.
It's like a foreign language to me what you're saying. I was like thinking.
Does anybody know what I'm talking about
or
at
Walden?
all? She's in the front. She's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. There you go. That's amazing. It's exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. The old photos of your friends, you got it. It's all hard copy. It's important. Yeah. And that was like another thing about the book that I loved being able to share with people is that it's an experience living through life, and you're gonna look back on your times fondly. I've been really, really fortunate to be able to put it into a book, but I mean, I think anybody can really pick up that book and feel something, or maybe not, and that's beautiful too. You know what I mean? Well,
and you like the process so much, you're doing another book.
Yeah, I'm doing another book right now.
But you can't tell us anything.
Can't talk about it. I can tell you that it's the theme of it is very classic and dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we take it out to the audience, I want to ask, aside from the photo you just took right now, what was the last photo that you took?
Last photo that I took was of Troyan on my motorcycle yesterday. Oh, look at that. I think you all probably saw it, yeah, on Instagram. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, I love, and Troyan, yesterday we were working, and we were in the little greenhouse, just holding area. It wasn't part of the scene or anything. And the lighting was beautiful, and of course, like, she's reading a script, I'm, reading, a book and also watching movies while we're waiting to shoot, and then the lighting's so beautiful, we both like stop what we're doing and we're like, let's take pictures. She's like, okay. So that's like,
All right, do we have any questions out there? It might be tough, I know. Raise your hands. Okay.
You keep talking about support. Do you think without the support from the cast of Pretty Little Liars, do you think you would have put your book out?
I don't know. I don't think it would have been yeah, that's a good question. I actually, the show has been very supportive, and I know that because of this quasi-celebrity that's been accumulated from the show, I've had more of an opportunity to share my work, for sure. Like I said, I'm not like a professional photographer. It's more of a hobby, and the show has given me an amazing platform and amazing, wonderful fans to be part of it, and the support of the fans made that possible, for sure.
Right in front.
Be present.
What?
Be present.
Okay.
Someone shoot it for her.
I'm really nervous.
Thank you.
Don't be nervous.
Hi, Keegan. Hi. Could you tell us what happened to the pictures that didn't make the cut?
Oh, they're all still in existence. I mean, there was 1,600 film scans, like I said, and I think we had like 12,000 digital images to go through. And out of those, we just picked what felt right in the book and the storyline. But, they're still around. I have them. I look at them, and they're
He'll
cool.
show us after this.
Yeah, maybe there'll
over.
be like some kind of, yeah.
Yes.
Question way in the back.
Hey, hi.
Hi. You said that you asked the girls about taking pictures. I always thought that you're supposed to take a photo of people that's just being natural and not being prim and proper.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the way you do it all the time, by asking them if it's okay for this or that and just not being natural?
I think whenever I've ever taken a photo of anybody, I try and capture a moment of them that is beautiful to me, or beautiful in my, it's so subjective, right? But sometimes I might direct somebody, but I was telling you, I don't usually direct anybody. I'll never say like, hey, pose like this. I just like them, whoever I'm shooting, to feel natural. And I feel like that's the best way to capture somebody and not manipulate the situation too much. Other photographers are great. Some of them are insanely talented at manipulation of an image, but I don't shoot like that. And it's good to kind of allow the subject to feel comfortable. Yeah.
Question in the center.
Hi, Keegan. I have twins. They're teenagers, and they are traveling on their own this summer.
Cool.
What advice do you have for teenagers who are traveling and doing their own little travelogue?
Like with photography?
Yeah, with photography.
Well, if they're shooting on film, that's going to be scary. Make sure you always like, if you're going to, are they shooting on film? Oh, they are? Oh, they got to make sure to not put their film through X-ray machines when they're traveling, and to really like invest in a good like negative contact sheet folder. But if they're shooting digital, just get like backup hard drives and
no
just
leather
like,
straps.
Oh yeah, no leather straps. I shoot with a paracord strap because my leather strap, people have like tried to steal my camera from me before. So this is like this is from Kill Spencer. I like designed it with him because we were wanting something that wouldn't break, so you can't like really cut through this. Yeah, get like a good camera strap. And just have fun and like really, really, enjoy the process of photography. I think that's the most important thing, is to have fun. And yeah.
There's a question in the middle to your left.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, you were talking about cameras. What type of camera would you recommend for beginner photographers?
Well, like I said, the CVS, like a throwaway camera, is great. But if you were more serious about photography, I Contax T2 or T3, they're great point-and-shoot film cameras. And if you have the means to get into a film Leica, you can get them used for a lot less than one would think, and they're great. You'll have it for a lifetime. I mean, I still have mine, and it's from before I was born. Yeah.
Question to your left.
Hi, Keegan.
Hey.
If you hadn't been on Pretty Little Liars, how do you think your images or photography would have changed?
That's a good question. I think a lot of my style has been consistent in the snapshot photography feel, but I've also learned so much from different directors and cinematographers. A lot from the show and a lot not from the show, but the show has influenced a lot of my shooting style for sure. And I don't know. I know that it has influenced it in a way. So if anything, I'm just grateful to have been a part of the experience as long as I have, so that I'm able to translate that in my own way. But yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, who knows? That's like a whole other existential thing, right? Like, what would have happened if you had water this morning instead of milk? Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
Question about halfway back in the middle.
Hi.
Hi.
I was hoping you could talk about your collaboration with other photographers and how you might inspire each other.
I've worked with a lot of photographers that are contemporary. I've gotten to meet a lot of cool photographers. I feel like I learn more than I can offer to anybody, because photography is such a private thing. It is very much your own view of the world, essentially. I mean, we can all take, this would be a cool social experiment. We can all take a picture of this hedge right here and post it online, and every one of our photos will look different, So that's kind of how I feel like collaborating with other photographers. All that I've ever experienced is one of us will get jealous and secretly hate each other. But I think it's just great to always share photography with people that are passionate about photography, and learn as much as you can from others that are inspired by capturing images.
Question in the center.
Hi, do you ever encounter frustration in not being able to take the perfect picture?
Oh yeah, constantly. With everything in life, I feel like that, though. I feel like if you really want to do something and it's not right, I mean, it'll drive you nuts. But with photography, for sure. And you can never blame the camera, I feel like, for sure. Especially when you're shooting all manual, it's totally your fault when something doesn't work. And there's been a lot of times where I've taken shots on film and, you know, I get really excited and I forget that it's loaded in the camera, and I open and all the film's gone. Like, every shot is totally exposed and it just comes out one big white blank sheet. So yeah, I've been frustrated countless times, but through the frustration I've learned more than I would have learned if I wasn't frustrated, I think. Yeah.
Question about halfway on your left.
Keegan,
Hey.
you know how you said photography is a good way to capture the moment? When is it that you feel like it's the best time to actually take a picture of the moment?
It's weird. It's like a Spider-Man sense sometimes. It just like comes over me. Usually it's when I feel like I'd want to share something with somebody. It comes on like kind of like a freight train of, oh, this person would really like this, or like I really want to show everyone what I'm seeing. I want to share this with someone. I think that's where it comes from, this objective to share. Or maybe sometimes it's private. Sometimes I'll just take a photo because I think it's beautiful.
Before someone asks another, do you ever do something just so you can have the photo?
Do something like manipulate things to. No, I don't think I've ever done anything like to. No, I don't think I've ever done that. I usually like to live in the realm of like the now and see what happens, you know. Whenever I've tried to I've like tried, it just didn't work out.
Work out.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry to intrude. Your turn.
Question to your right.
What makes a good picture stand out from the average?
I think it's something that speaks to you. You know, you can look at, you know, amazing photography. Like Annie Leibovitz will take a composition of somebody that we all see it every day. We'll see some, you know, celebrity. She can take a photo and it just really speaks to you. It speaks to you through lighting, through composition, through placement, all of this stuff. And I think if it really if it harnesses something deep within you that speaks to your spirit, I think that makes a good photo stand out from the average.
Question up front, sort of where my arm is, behind the camera.
Hi.
Hey.
I had two questions, actually. I saw on your Instagram you're doing some work with James Franco.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think we'd see like a collaboration between your work and James's work?
Yeah, I could totally see that happening. I mean, a lot of the early idea of Life, Love, Beauty, I you know, really liked his book, California Childhood. I don't know if you guys know what book that is, or it's kind of like this, you know, collage of his older photos of him and his artwork and his poems, and it's like kind of like a little art forum, you know. But I would love to collaborate with James. I think James is you know, very, very intelligent and artistic, and yeah, and he's also really like a cool friend, and I love working with him. So yeah, I could see something eventually happening.
My other question is, I know you probably get this a lot, but would you go to prom with me?
Everybody else is like, oh man. Wait, where's your prom?
It's at a small charter school called Student Empowerment Academy in downtown.
What day is it on?
May 29th.
I may be in Ohio shooting The Long Home, but I don't know. Or I may be working. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Question to your right.
Well, okay, I don't have anything exciting as that, but hi, Keegan.
Hi.
I was wondering what your favorite picture you've ever taken is.
Every photo that's in my book, I have like, you know, a connection to it. But I think my favorite photo, that's hard. My favorite photo I've ever taken. Whenever somebody asks it, it like changes every day. Man, that's tough. It's like a toss-up. There's like 7 photos that come to mind, but they're all like private photos. I think a public photo that I just really, really love and I have like a deep love for would be Oh, you know what? I really love the photo that's on the back cover of the book, because there's like a whole reason that that photo came to be, and it was on film, and it was like in the middle of the woods, and it was just like special. I really love that. It's like one of my favorite photos because there's meaning behind it, right? You know what I mean? That's cool.
We have
There
time
you
for
go.
one more question. So it's going to be a spectacular question. So over here on your left.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Hi, Keegan.
Hi.
If you've ever used one, what's your opinion on some of the new cameras, like mirrorless cameras?
Oh, I shot with an NEX5 for a long time. I think they're great. I was into DSLRs for a while, but I felt like I overshot and I would go crazy. And because I come from a shooting film background, you know, you shoot 36 shots and you're done. You can't shoot anymore. So even on a digital camera, I'll only shoot a couple, like maybe 30 shots or so. But I think the mirrorless cameras are really changing the way that photography is being created. I think Sony just came out with a mirrorless camera that can shoot 10,000 ISO, and it's small, and you can, you know, they were on set the other day shooting in the dark, and it was like crazy. So I think it's gonna change the way that we take photos for sure. And now we're starting to get smaller camera bodies, you know, but you can't really get smaller lenses.
Yeah,
It'll eventually just be like a lens, you know. But yeah, I think they're great, and I think everybody should own a camera. I think the iPhones are great, and the best camera to have is the one that's with you, right? But I think having an actual like physical camera is great, and that's a great way that, you know, the photography is now being introduced to this generation, is these mirrorless cameras. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in thanking Keegan Allen.
Thank you guys so much.